Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Pure Guidance. Before I get going, I really want to talk a little bit about our sponsor, Bessie, who sells 100% grass-finished beef, naturally raised chicken, and sashimi-grade seafood delivered to your home. They're having a great week. They won Most New Promising Startup of the Year for Start Alberta Award. So Bessie's doing a great job. You got to check them out. Their website is in the comments section or scrolling across the bottom. So, congrats to Bessie, Spencer, Alex, and Shanika. You guys are doing a great job and keep on being awesome. So that being said, we'll kind of go right into today's guest, Alex Pezzutto, the founder of Rentbridge. Sorry, Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yourself, Jade?
I am doing fantastic. Yeah, it's startup innovation week here in Alberta, so there was a nice little awards last night that Bessie was nominated for, and they're kind of knocking it out of the park right now. So it's good to see some of the great things going on in this province.
Yeah, I bet. Sounds like you had a little bit of money betting on that as well, so that was good.
No money.
I'm sorry, not money betting on it. Sorry, that's not a good way to put it. More so, you were interested in investing in them. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, they're great. I love them, and they're in the final five for the Startup TNT event here coming up on Thursday night. So people have to check that out as well. But we're actually here to kind of talk about you. So. So we'll head into that. I'll give a brief little introduction here, and then we'll start talking a little bit about Rentbridge. So Alex is a husband, friend, and many, and leader in the church, a businessman in the marketplace. No matter what hat he wears, he desires to work with all his heart and be a man of integrity in what he does. He's a strategic and energetic speaker and relationship builder, combined with 12 years in public speaking engagements, business development, and management. As results and people-oriented initiator with a strong background in teaching, leadership, sales, and startups. Recognized for his ability to engage, inspire, overcome difficult challenges, and build teams to translate vision into acceptable steps. And I know we were briefly talking a little bit beforehand about sometimes how slow startups move, and we wish it was something new. So why don't we talk about how you came up with the Rentbridge idea, and share your story. Good old technology, and he is gone. Well, he'll be back. But anyways, this is the joy of working from home now. We seem to have this problem a fair amount, but he'll be back. Anyways, I'll kind of give a little update about Rentbridge. Rentbridge is a company that rents household items. So whether it be your drill or anything along the lines that you're able to, sitting around, in your garage, you'll be able to go on their platform and rent it out for some extra revenue. So Alex is based out of Alberta here. He's been, their website is rentbridge.ca. You can click on it in the comment section, and they will be able to, sign up and start using it. So I am just texting and seeing if he is coming here. Oh, there you are. Can you not log back on?
My internet literally just shut off.
Oh, well, you know what? Unfortunately, we're good right now, and people are just going to have to look at my ugly mug as we do this interview. So,
yeah, it looks like I might be able to reload right away here. We'll see what happens. But,
we'll just keep on trucking. So why don't we'll do this over the phone here, and you're right beside my speaker, so people will be able to hear you. But so why don't you tell us how you came up with Rentbridge and how it's going?
Yeah, certainly. I think I am in the audience, actually.
Okay, there we go. We're back.
Woo-hoo!
We'll turn off the phone for now. So, can you say that question again, Jay? Sorry about that.
And why don't you tell us how you came up with the idea of Rentbridge and how it's going?
Now my Bluetooth is not. 1 second. Okay, I should be able to hear you now. now. There we go. That's switching between phone and computer.
Hey, there we go. That'd be not just the way she rolls, right?
Yeah.
So, how did you come up with the idea of Rentbridge?
Yeah. So prior to doing this, I ran a company that was seasonal, and so in the off season, I would have a lot of time to think. And so I was thinking, I don't want to do this forever. I'd like something that I could be doing year round. So someone gave me the idea. It's like, hey, you should just start getting really good at coming up with business ideas. So just pay attention to problems that you see in your life and notice things around you and try to come up with 2 to 3 ideas every single day.
Yeah.
So after about 70 ideas came to mind, I looked through them all and said, this is probably the best one. I'm going to try to do this one. Looking back now, I'm like, man, that was a really difficult idea to pick. But there was that, and that was later rekindled. I actually forgot about it for like 8 months. And then I bought my first house, and we had just moved in kind of midsummer. And I said, I need to mow the lawn, but I don't want to buy a lawnmower. Like, I can't rent a lawnmower. There's no place that rents out lawnmowers. Like, oh yeah, that idea. So that's how it happened.
It's amazing how ideas come up when out of something of a need. And I mean, people that watch us on a consistent basis will hear me say that all the time. It's just saying, oh yeah, I can't do it, so let's create something that so it can happen. So then what were your next steps? Like, you said, okay, I can't do this. Was it just like, did you go buy a lawnmower? Did you say, oh no, let me come up with a whole new platform to do this?
Well, I did what anyone would do without having access to this, and I bought a lawnmower. But I bought a very inexpensive push lawnmower in the meantime, and then I put together a team of people. I said, "Hey, I don't know how to build an app," so I found a friend who did, and then I'm like, "I don't know how to design anything," so I found a friend who could design stuff, and then so we had the hustler, the hipster, and the hacker, as they say, and we got to work. And the team has since changed a lot and roles have shifted. But it's been 3 years since that initial get together. So the first year and a half, we really didn't get a whole lot done. Kind of that should have changed, but now we're at a team of about 10 guys, guys and girls, all working pretty hard on this project.
Nice. So, well, let's talk about that process and maybe some of because you're still you're still a really early stage startup. I shouldn't say that, but you're still working in that process. And some people don't understand how difficult it is to take that idea to a process. And there are other people that are doing this in the market. So do you think that competition helps or doesn't help, or does that make you speed up your process to make sure that you're competitive?
Yeah, I mean, all of that is true. It definitely encourages us to go faster because we recognize if you're to look at the statistics on what makes startups succeed or not succeed, timing is actually the number one factor. It's not funding. It's not how good your team is. It's not how good your idea is. It's actually just timing. Now, your team is the number 2 one, and I think we have a pretty great team. But as far as timing goes, we believe this is probably potentially the best time, maybe a year earlier, maybe. But we're in the midst of a window now that is one of the best times possible to start this company, or to have the product going live, I should say. If we were to start the company now, I think it would probably be a lost cause. But to actually be live and to be growing, this is the perfect time. So what that gave us the advantage to do is, rather than being first to market, we were actually able to study about 50 companies that have gone before us, and most of which failed, going back as early as 2006. So we've been able to study all these companies, say, why did this one fail? What did this one do differently? What happened here? What happened here? What happened here? Even finding companies that have failed as recently as just in the past, several companies that failed in the past year, one that was seed stage, one that had more funding than any other company in this space in the world. They had 40 million in the bank and they failed. And so just being able to examine all these and figure out what happened, and realizing that being first to market isn't always the best advantage. Sometimes being first to market can be premature and the market's not ready for you, and you have to spend so much money getting getting the public to be aware of this and understand how it works that you just go under. So while our number one competitor, Ruckify, who's actually the largest in the world in this space right now, they've just recently claimed that title. They're now in, I believe, 12 cities across Canada and the US. They have 18 million funding, which they've probably spent a fair bit of already. But they're also looking to go public next month and raise another 5 million or so. But they have had to bleed money in order to get this idea out there. And so we get to kind of ride the wave of what they've already done. And a lot of people have confused us for them anyway, so it's great.
You know, it's one of my favorite departments, and you know, when we were with Nathan's was R&C, and that's research and copy. I mean,
that's great.
Companies that are out there spending all the monies in the world doing those things, you're like, I don't have that kind of money. We don't have that kind of money to figure out what should be here, what should be done. But hey, they just spent all that kind of money, and we're just now going to copy it and put our own little spin on it. So there is something to do that. Someone coming in, setting up, explaining the process, and spending all the money, making sure people understand exactly how it works. So again, I'm talking to Alex Pezzutto, the founder of Rentbridge.ca. You can click on their website in the comment section. We'll take you directly there. So let's talk about this process. How does it work? Yeah.
So essentially, in the three simple step: sign up, find what you need, rent it, is essentially the process. But after you've created an account, if you want to lend stuff out, there's a post item button, you click it, add some photos, add in your details, you list the item. When someone goes to rent it from you, you'll get a notification via text and or email, or if you have the app, it'll be a push notification. And then you just basically approve it and say, here's when we want to meet up. So kind of like on Kijiji or Airbnb, there's an actual conversation involved. It's not instantaneous. So when a rental goes through, you have to engage and say, okay, let's pick it up at this time, or this works for me. And then the rental goes through, the payment is processed securely on the platform, and we have insurance covering all our transactions. So you have a $100,000 insurance policy covering both the borrower and the lender. And then for the borrower, when they're wanting to rent something, depending on how expensive the item is, it might be as simple as just verifying their phone number or social profile. But for most items valued over $250, we ask people to do a one-time identity verification just to prevent any chance of fraud. You know, people's belongings are very personal to them. We want to create a community of trust. So we just have an identity verification system that is built in, third party, and connects your driver's license or passport to your real face and make sure that you are who you say you are.
Interesting. So I come in and I want to rent something from you. Can I rent it for an hour, 2 hours, 2 days? Is that obviously the price range is based on how long you're going to rent it?
Yeah. So it's partly based on the opportunity or based on the choice of the lender. So they can say daily only, or they can say hourly.
Okay.
So because, for example, if you're just, someone's working all day long, you aren't necessarily home to send out the item for an hour or two. But if it's a business and they have a location and there's someone there, then quite often hourly makes sense for them. So it depends on whether you're a business or an individual, typically whether you make hourly an option.
So some of these businesses that might not be renting out some of their or using some of their equipment, it's a good option for them to rent it out to people that need it, whether it be lawn work or anything along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had some photographers getting a bunch of their stuff listed. Some photographers built up a large inventory of stuff, and photography is a very common hobby for people. And many of those hobbyists want to try out these things that they don't have access to. And then even getting into, due to COVID, a lot of gyms have had to shut down across the country. A lot of people are going back into phase one for almost half of Canada now. And so we've been connecting with some gyms to have them list all their equipment on our platform so their clients can rent out the equipment to them.
Oh, that's very interesting. I never really knew that, or never really thought about that. I always thought of it as a personal. I would go down and this is in my garage and away you go. But that aspect for small businesses and I mean, I think that's such a good point that you made of using photography as an example. You got a lens, you got something, and you don't want to go spend I know it's an expensive hobby. You don't want to spend a couple $1,000s on that telepocus lens or whatever it is, and you can at least try it out to see if you like it.
Yeah, and hobbies are very much kind of the big thing on this platform. Is there are a lot of hobbies that cost a lot to get into, or maybe you just want to dabble, and there's someone out there who's a professional at it, and they have all this great gear that they don't use all the time.
Yeah.
So they get to make a little bit of money. You get to save money and get to have fun and explore. So that's where our tagline, do what you love sustainably, comes in. Is we want to enable people to do whatever they want, to do what they love in a way that's financially and environmentally sustainable, because you're not throwing out and making more and more stuff. It's circular, and you're sharing it. And you're just saving a ton of money. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So do you ever, I guess I want to throw this out there. And I mean, is there any problems with theft? Is that something that people are scared about? Do you get asked about that a lot?
Yeah, so we did a test launch back in 2018, in the fall of 2018. So 2 years ago now, that was our first test. And what we found is the moment you go outside of your kind of first degree network, there is the concern about theft and the concern about things being broken. Even in your first degrey network, you're like, I don't know if I want to rent this out to my cousin because they're not always the best with stuff. So it is an issue. And so we found we've interviewed 100, 200, 300 people over the past couple of years. And we found that 95 to 100% of people in all those studies won't use this without having some form of insurance, because they want to make sure that that's protected, and it makes sense. And from our actual research into this stuff across all the platforms that are using these things, theft is actually incredibly rare, like a 1 in 10,000 type of thing. It does happen, but our insurance policy is within 24 to 48 hours, no questions asked, we send you the money. So if anything has been stolen, and then we will follow up. Like, we don't want people continuing that's why we have their identity, so that we can contact the police.
Oh no, I mean that sense of security obviously is something that I think is obviously important. It's good that you guys have that that kind of put in place, the insurance there, that's sense of comfort if someone's coming in, and even if it's just using my drill for 2 hours, whatever it may be. That's very important for the seller or the lender, I guess, what it maybe be. But
it's great for both, and that's, I think, one advantage we had is a lot of other companies don't protect the borrower, and so our insurance policy does protect the borrower as well.
No, that's very important, very important. So you mentioned your slogan, "Do what you love sustainably." I mean, and when someone goes to your website, which they can just click on in the comments section, why did you choose this? And you talk about, giving back to charity. Why is that something that was so passionate to you and something you wanted to do right out of the get-go?
Yeah. So prior to getting into business, I was actually training to be a pastor. So I was getting ready to do ministry stuff. And so I guess making an impact and caring for people and a purpose-driven life has always been really important to me. And so when I was getting into business, I said, I don't want to do something that doesn't help people, that doesn't actually transform something. So when we realized what the impact Rentbridge could have, is we said, we want to communicate what Rentbridge could be in a way that says, this is a movement. This changes everything. This is going to change how people use everyday items. This is going to unlock so much more potential. But we wanted to say it really simply and clearly as to what that is. And essentially, we help people to do the stuff that they're most passionate about. We unlock the potential to do just about anything that they couldn't do before, to do it affordably, to earn extra money easily. So if they have passions that they want to do, like, this is a way to get started on that passive income or that side hustle with stuff that you already have. You don't need to buy anything new to do it. And yet it's also making a huge impact environmentally, because one of the biggest issues with environmental causes and environmental initiatives is it's too much work. It's too difficult. It's too much work. It's too expensive. And what is the best solution to something? It's always the simplest solution, the simplest to implement. And what is more simple than being able to use stuff more affordably, easier, and to do anything? So we are having our cake and eating it too, essentially. Because right now, Canada, or in a recent survey, Canada was listed as the #1 quality of life country on the planet. But we're also the #1 for waste per person. So I said, what if we could improve our quality and maintain that, but also reduce the amount of waste everyone's using by sharing stuff rather than buying stuff new and throwing it out all the time. So it's a simple solution that's incredibly powerful and has massive impact. And so that's what we wanted to communicate. Do what you love sustainably. And so it's a movement. We want people to feel like they're making an impact, and they want and to share this.
So my question is that something that, do you believe people buy into that, or do you think that people just it's just a way for me to make money, or do they really impact, feel your impact that you are giving back?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be those people that for them it's 100% about the money. They don't really care about the vision. And I think in all honesty, most of us are probably more driven by saving a quick buck and having an easier process than we are by the environmental factor. That's just kind of the reality of it. But once you see that I can do that, I can make this, save this money or earn this extra money and be helping the environment, then it's just so much. And really, you're helping your local community too. You're keeping the money circular in your economy. So that extra purpose behind it just makes it so much easier for people to get to be passionate about it and to want to do it. So we have had people that have been very excited about that particular side. So Environment Lethbridge, I think it's Green Calgary, like these companies have been, or these nonprofits have been very excited about that. Lethbridge Sustainable Living Association. So they've been getting behind that aspect. But ultimately, you have people that really care about it, and you have those passionate people, and then you have just people that just see the utility of it. It is what it is.
I agree, right? I mean, there's so many things. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I speak from personal. I mean, every time that I think every 2 years when I'm going to aerate my lawn, it's like, okay, well, should I go rent something, or should I phone the local guy that I used 2 years ago? And I ended up just phoning the local guy that I used 2 years ago, rather than going through the process of Home Depot and things along those lines. But I mean, if I know that somebody across the street has an aerator, or 2 doors down, or a block or so away that I can rent, I would probably do that. I mean, it's something that it makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I remember, I'm going to say it. I remember when I started seeing Ruckify move into this market, I didn't know what they were. I know they're a Canadian company, but when I started looking at it, I was like, oh, I like this idea. I like this. And then of course I'm like, oh, look at the things that you can rent, and things that I never even thought like that I could rent. And then I thought, well, you know what, instead of me, when I go to the lake, and we don't have a boat, but I was like, instead of boring my friends, maybe I can rent someone's boat. And I mean, there was nothing that big, but I was like, that is interesting. Like, I started thinking about all the things that I could rent that would probably save me money, and a way and I ended up not renting anything, but it was just something that I really thought was a neat idea, because it's never really crossed my mind before.
Yeah, and I think that's for us, that's actually probably one of our struggles. But we recognize that a lot of people think it's a cool idea. So if we've had a ton of people signing up and joining the platform, but the amount of people that actually apply that thought to actually rent something, the amount of transactions is not as encouraging as the amount of people that find the idea cool.
Yeah.
But we're also noticing that it just takes time to because not everyone's going to have that need right away. By our guesses, every 1 to 3 months, someone will have that idea where it's like, oh, I really wish I could use this. And when they come up with the idea, we want to be the company that they think of. They think, oh, I can get it on Rentbridge. And so we started seeing that, where we've been noticing in some Facebook groups where someone's like, hey, I need to rent this or borrow this. Does anyone know where I can get one? And then people will start saying, oh, just go to Rentbridge. Oh, just go to Rentbridge. And we're starting to see the community recognize, oh, there is an option to do that isn't like the more complicated options, or maybe there wasn't even an option before, but that now exists, and they're referencing us.
No, that's good. And it's hard to get to that stage, right? It's a lot of time, a lot of energy, and sometimes a lot of money to get to somebody thinking, call Rentbridge, sign up, go check there.
Yeah, it's that easy. It's like, you don't have to, ask all your friends to find something. You don't have to just hop on. You don't have to go in person to Home Depot, which for some of you may be on the other end of town, and hope they have it, and then schedule to rent it if it's not in. For us, it's just like you instantly hop on the site, you see if it's there, and if it's not, you put in a request, and we go find it for you.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's simple, very, very simple. So I guess, kind of moving forward, what's the next, short-term, long-term plans for Rentbridge?
Yeah, so short term. So we just launched in Winnipeg and Calgary this month. We launched in Lethbridge back in August. So short term plans is get those cities growing and increase the community there. Just really take care of these cities. So our team is split fairly evenly between Winnipeg, Lethbridge, and Calgary. So we're in every city that we are in. Essentially, we're helping our community. We're working with our friends, working with local businesses, and we're just trying to really care for and take care of those cities. That being said, short term, we're also preparing to raise our seed round. So we have several investors that are working with us. We've just about hit the goals that they set for us to be kind of investor ready. So we've hit some for some people, but others we're close to hitting those, and then we're going to raise the money and try to spread out a little bit more across Canada. Longer term, ultimately the goal is let's be one of the top companies out there making an impact in this. We want to be shifting the way Canadians use everyday items. We want to be all across Canada, potentially in other countries as well. So just like Skip the Dishes is kind of alongside Uber Eats and DoorDash, and Lyft is alongside Uber, we believe that we can certainly exist alongside Ruckify. Maybe they buy us out at some point, but I think I think we figured out something that's unique enough and doing well enough that we're carving a space out in our own right.
Well, and that's good to hear, right? I mean, people want to support local, and that's been a big pitch here lately, right, about it. And God, even moving forward, anything that people for renting, you're local, Bessie's local, and my next 4 interviews are all going to be kind of Christmas orientated, where you can buy things locally. So that's been a really good help for you when people are like, we got to support our local economy here. Otherwise, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And as you said before, to keep money in our own little ecosystem here, it's very, very important.
Yeah. And yeah, so I completely agree with that. And it's even with that being said, like as far as investors go, we're actually trying to work exclusively with Canadian investors as well. We don't really feel the need to go down to Silicon Valley right now. Like, let's keep the money. Let's help Calgary and Winnipeg and Edmonton. Let's help our own country increase its wealth so that can be shared among our own country.
No, I totally agree. And I love what you guys are doing. And again, anybody wants to find out more information about Rentbridge, just click in the comment section. It'll take you right to their website, sign up, and away you go. So my last question, this is probably pretty fresh in your mind as you're as you're just expanding across and opening up in Winnipeg and obviously Calgary. But if you had one piece of advice for a small business entrepreneur or startup, Alex, what would that be?
I would say move at the speed of hustle and wisdom. And by that, I mean, you're going to have to work much harder than you expected, and you're going to get a lot less results than you expect. So don't rush it. Be patient, but move at the right speed at the right time. Pay attention to where things are going. Pay attention to what you need to focus on, because it's really easy to focus on and put a whole bunch of work into the stuff that doesn't matter. But when you are alone or you have a small team and you have limited resources, you need to be working on the stuff that matters the most and be focused and just do one thing at a time. Build in segments. We're in the Lean Stack Accelerator right now, and I highly encourage people use the lean methodology. Be very lean, but move at the speed of hustle and the speed of wisdom.
No, that's great advice. I mean, sometimes your plans are never met with reality. And, I mean, I can speak to that ourselves, and I know obviously I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs over a lot of years, and that's always something comes and punches you in the face, and then you're like, oh, well, okay, didn't see that coming. And again, what you said, working on the stuff that's important. I mean, focus on what's important, and even spending the money on what's important. And that's some things that, entrepreneurs figured, oh, I got to start my marketing, I got to start my branding. And, they just keep throwing money into that, where it should be the least amount of things that they're focusing on at that time.
Yeah. And that's the thing when it comes to money is you shouldn't be afraid. Like, if you don't have any money as an entrepreneur, your business isn't going to get out there. You need to make money on something simple before you do something crazy.
Yeah.
Like start a window cleaning business, like go around, clean windows for people. Like just figure out how to do something small and do it well.
Yeah.
Because if I recall correctly, the likelihood of someone who has at least some business experience succeeding is several times greater than someone who has none. And actually the industry doesn't even matter. You don't have to be in the previous industry. It's just having business experience.
Yeah.
Because it's a different way of thinking. And then also, you shouldn't be spending any money at all on things that you could just do manually if you need to. Like your first 100 customers, door knock them, call them. You shouldn't be spending any money on your first 100 customers because you need to test and prove your idea.
No, absolutely. Could not agree more. And that is great advice. And I really, it's been a long time coming since we first met about a year or so ago, but I'm happy that we got to this place and you're here and you're sharing your story and it's launched and I highly encourage people to check it out. Again, it's rentbridge.ca. It's in the comments section. If you have any questions for Alex or myself, just reach out, or you can just go right to their website. So again, thank you, Alex, for coming on today and sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, Jade.
All right. Well, I hope everybody has a great day, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.